Hello once again, everyone. It's your friend Moonhorse, here to read you some more Neckbeard stories. I was literally just about to go to bed, and then I saw this, and I realized I just need to read this. I need to read this to you guys. And it's only now that I realized that it was written by somebody whose story I read earlier tonight. Alfarius, or am I? Posted another story earlier tonight. I don't know what order these are getting uploaded in. I have heartburn, so I'm going to burp a lot. I'm going to try and keep it quiet, but yeah. I don't have any medicine. So, this is our story. I was a neckbeard. Beforehand notice, usual sorry stuff, I'm on mobile. So after thinking on it a lot, I've decided to come clean. I was a neckbeard. But before you say anything, let me explain. While I was a neckbeard for a while during high school, I was not a neckbeardicus extreme. In short, I didn't do anything extreme. I didn't follow anyone home or attack anyone or anything extreme like that. I did try to milady once and was promptly punched by my best friend. She was kind of the reason I changed. So let's start the story, and honestly, it starts in elementary school. I was bullied most of my time there for really no reason. It was so bad that I had to go to the ER because I got the shit kicked out of me once so bad that they thought I had swelling on my brain. And when asked who did it, well, they all covered for each other. Yeah, kids are the worst. In the end, I only had a concussion, but the school nurse was convinced I had swelling in the brain. And even in middle school, I was still bullied, but not to the extreme I was in elementary school. I'm pretty sure this is why I had and still have pretty severe depression and anxiety. I relate to that. I started just being a loner, and the only people who honestly felt bad for me would talk to me, and that's where it began. The bearding. Since I had no friends and didn't really talk to anyone aside from family, I didn't really learn social clues or know how to talk to people. I was only interested in nerd stuff at the time, so a few people that did try to talk to me would have no clue what I was talking about. I distinctly remember one girl who came to talk to me, and my opening line was, "Do you like Stargate?" And then I rambled on for a couple of minutes before I realized she was gone. She was weirded out by me. Now, high school was a different boat altogether. I actually made a decent amount of friends there due to there being an anime club and ROTC. I was in both. And I met my best friend in the anime club, and let's call her Jenny for the sake of keeping names private. Frankly, she is, to this day, one of the greatest people I've ever met. I also met another girl, who I'll call Ducky, due to her last name being the name of a water-loving fowl. I'm sorry, bird. I just went with fowl because duck. Hey, we latched onto each other. Eventually, she was creeped out by me asking her out all the time and wanted nothing to do with me. Now, ROTC was a different story because, well, my best friends I met them there. I recently went to one of their going-away parties. He was enlisted in the Marines. I still kept to myself for the most part. Shut up, other computer. I realize you updated, but I still don't like you because you're full of windows. Anyhow, I still just kept to myself for the most part. Now, there were multiple ladies in high school, and to this day, they just don't want to talk to me. And in their defense, I don't blame them. I was either too attached and would get jealous, or kind of do the halfway nice guy text shit, or just keep pestering for a quote-unquote chance that deep down I knew I'd never get. It wasn't until my sophomore year when I found out why I would get so obsessed and attached to the girls. You see, my middle school and elementary chalked my bad grades and horrible social skills up to ADHD, and demanded I be regulated with medication, even though I never had ADHD or even got tested for it. I had Asperger's. Now, I'm not super high up on the spectrum, but I have a lot of the tendencies. Poor picking up on social cues. Skulls? Why did I say skulls? I get obsessed with things super easy. I'm really OCD because of it. I'm not trying to blame everything I did on autism, but it was all my fault 100%. And believe me, it played a small part. And since I was on ADHD medicine almost 60% of my life, I was kind of an absolute zombie through those years. I believe in my mind it's why I was a loner and why I was so weird. I was kind of drugged out of my mind the whole time. Picture a kid who just completely baked his whole life. Now imagine him, but he has no ambitions, no will, no energy to do anything. But now I'm going to get into the good stuff, and how I recovered. Ginny was by my side the whole time, and what she did when I was getting weird or being odd is she'd punch me somewhere, anywhere, until I'd stop and explain why I shouldn't do that. I remember she caught me staring at a girl one time, and she punched me square in the jaw. She also forced me to accept that what I read online about Chads and Stacy's was complete bullshit, and how genetics played zero part. Personality, however, did. She also made me work out with her in our school's weight room, and I lost a lot of weight over 2 years because of her. For reference, I was 330 when I went to high school and dropped 230 in 2 years, but since high school, I've put a lot back on. I'm about 250 now. And after all that time, I never understood why she took such an interest in me changing until I went over to her place one night and met her brother. He was a full-blown incel. He had just left to go to the gas station, and I saw the nest. It was literally spilling out into the hallway. When he came back, I honestly saw what could have been a look into my future before my very eyes. The long, greasy hair, fat body, anime shirt, cargo shorts. I asked her later that night why she was wanting me to change so bad, and her response was, honestly, it's made me tearing up just writing this. She said, I saw the same thing as you as I saw in him, and as a friend, I just couldn't let that happen. She cared about me so much because she had seen it happen. Her brother was 19, an absolute loser. He dropped out of high school a week in and turned into the mass of flesh living in her other room, Neckbeardicus extremis. And she was scared it would happen to me. Not much happened after that night, besides I was fully off my meds and honestly happier than ever. But sadly, Ginny had to leave high school and I was devastated. Her dad was extremely sick and she had to drop out to take care of him full time because her brother just refused to do it. But to this day, I can't thank her enough for what she did for me. I only saw a couple other times afterwards, though. She was working at a store in a mall I did security for, but while this is a long rant of sorts, it shows one thing. With good friends, you can overcome being a neckbeard before you get sucked in too far. Hard work, exercise, a good support network will ultimately help in overcoming the blight known as neckbeard. And I want to give a thanks to Moonhorse, for having this subreddit. It felt good to vent about this. If you read this, you rock, man. Well, you rock for, venting about this. And this goes for all of you. Whether or not I get to read all of your stories, feel free to share them. It feels good to get this stuff out. Thank you all for watching. If you have stories you'd like to contribute to this, whatever the hell I'm doing, you can send it to r/Moonhorse Stories. And if they're a private story that you don't want to share with the general population, you can send it to me as a personal message, which is what PM stands for if you didn't know that. I'm actually honestly surprised by the amount of people who didn't know that. Anyway, I am the mod, so you can send it to me and I will read it. And I will respond because I talk to people, because I'm like a loser and this is what I do all day. And if you want to contribute to this show or, send more than just, stories and shit, I have a Patreon. I would be very happy if you donate to my Patreon. It would make me the most happy. But actually it would make me much happier as if you bought a shirt. Because, shirts are cool. And I'm going to buy one. Fuck it, I don't care. So, yeah, all the links to all that and more. Specifically my Twitter. I have a Twitter. I post weird shit on Twitter. It's really, I don't know. It's not amazing. It's not like the Game Grumps Twitter or Ninja Sex Party where they post stuff that's funny. I just post whatever the fuck I'm thinking. And usually it's really weird. All that is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I still don't have a catchphrase. This is your friend Moonhorse. I'm gonna finish this glass and go to bed. Anyway, I love you all. Goodbye.